yo, appreciate your time and just know that I'm SK Crypto K, and today you should join my crypto club. Maybe by the end earn some dividends, so in advance I'ma thank you right now for that sub. Hey, yo, let's go.
All right, the recording has started. Hello, anyone who couldn't make it to this quick little voice chat that I wanted to do. It's your boy SK Crypto K, and today we're gonna talk about the elephant money farms. So, all right. So how I understand this is, first I'll start off with those multipliers. All right. So check this out. VJ, you made it. Thanks for joining, man.
Hi. Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, man. Dude, so I don't even know how to begin this. Should I just, I mean, you guys just want to open up with questions, or should I just like aimlessly break it down?
Yeah, why don't you break it down for us, SK, and then we can ask questions. Yeah,
SK, why don't you break it down, son?
Damn. Okay. All right. Fine. Okay. So, all right. So how I understand this, that this evidently is it's a resurrection of a contract that existed before bankroll flow. There were wildly successful farms called the bankroll farm back on Tron chain, and the yield was crazy. And also it was the first farm of its kind that I understand that actually didn't make LP pairs. So how this actually works is everything's kind of based on trunk price. So what this is aiming to do is attract anybody who wants to have a bank over onto Elephant Money. Now, how do I say this? So like, let's start with the example of with these multipliers and pairing your trunk with a stable coin as opposed to, I don't know, Bitcoin or cake or something like that. So trunk / cake is probably going to have a lower multiplier. It's probably only going to be a 5x, which would put the APR at like 50%, something like that, right? But stables are going to be the key. Stables from your DAI, your BUSD, your USDT, USDC, all of those, I believe, will have 10x multipliers. So 10x multiplier means you will be earning the top rate of 102.5% APR, just right off the rip. It doesn't go up, doesn't go down, just 102.5%, just straight up. Now, what's really exciting, what I didn't get this is that in that example, some of you may have read, if you, let's say, pair 10,000 BUSD with the trunk equivalent amount of that, which would give you like 45,000 trunk, that would create a quote unquote pair, but it's not a pair, but you're dual staking them, and that value worth is $20,000. Now, the farm doesn't care about the BUSD side of it. It's only using trunk as the calculation. So technically your trunk readout is based on just 2x the trunk value. So if you put in $10,000 worth of trunk in that, BUSD pair, your value of that pair is $10,000 of your trunk times 2. So $20,000, which is, mathematically what the pair looks like anyway. You put in 10,000 BUSD, you put in 10,000 trunk. Now, as trunk goes up and gets locked, everything that gets put into this farm is pulled out of circulating supply. You already know how that goes, but it drives the price up. As your trunk 2, 3, 4x's, and it's technically worth, your farm value went from 20,000 and it 4 times itself. So even though your 10,000 BUSD is still just chilling there as 10,000 BUSD, the value of the farm is actually based on the trunk value. So your starting position of $20,000 worth of farm pair is now 4x itself. So now it's $80,000 worth at a 102% APY. So you are getting the highest yield. Now, if you were to remove your pair, you will lose quote unquote position. So you will pull out 10,000 BUSD after the 4x, and you will also pull out your 45,000 trunk. But now remember, if your trunk is worth $1, you just pulled out $45,000. So if you wanted to pull your pair and put it back in, you're actually lost your position because you're only putting back in 10,000 BUSD with 10,000 trunk. not 45,000 trunk. Does that make sense?
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Makes
And
sense.
so
Yep.
it's hugely profitable if you're in early and you're in big, especially if you
Right.
bought trunk for cheap. So I'll start with
But
that.
you could make a case, SK, for taking that 35K extra. So let's say trunk did hit peg. Now you have 45K trunk, and let's say you unwound the farm. Like you said, you get your 10K BUSD back, you get your 10K trunk back. You could put that 35K trunk back into Stampede, for example, at 205% now, right? Because Stampede has gone up to 205%.
Yes.
So you could play both now. You could take some of those gains and put them back into Stampede and rotate the rest back into the farm if you wanted to.
Yes. Yeah, that's actually one really good option you could do. It sounds like to me the best play is to actually, if at all cost you can avoid it, I wouldn't pull anything out of the farm, because if you get in while it's cheap, like we said, you're earning 102% off of $80,000 worth of value. Now, that means you're getting huge amounts of trunk payout as your reward. And a bad actor is going to sell that trunk, right? And just day after day, they're going to sell that trunk. But a good actor is going to realize, like, oh shit, everybody who wants to put, these different tokens, Ethereum, Bitcoin, pair it with trunk, everyone's locking up all this trunk price appreciates, it's back up to $1. Well, now you're earning all that farm APY reward. And what do you do with those rewards? Honestly, it's best to kind of recirculate it back into the system, like you mentioned. So you could put your rewards on a daily basis into your Stampede, which is also back up to 205%. And then you compound that, like it ends up just being a crazy circular, recycling of the money. That I think is really going to bring peg up. Now, I also mentioned that it's very beneficial for the ecosystem at large, because the moment trunk hits 25 cents, now that starts making the raffle look a little more appealing for peanuts. If you want to max deposit that, if you bring your trunk price back up to just 35 cents, well, shit, man, I want to go for the max depositor. And if I use peanuts, so that starts to beef up Bertha. And then, as you cross 50 cents and whatnot, it just minting becomes a thing finally, and more dollars actually flood in. Like, I think a lot of whatever I've seen the last 4 months anyway, people that want to avoid elephant, they're first to point out that, oh yeah, trunk's on $1, haha, it's a failure. But it's like, once you get trunk back up, it starts turning heads. And this farm has a fantastic opportunity, a value proposition for anybody that's in early, that's in the know, and you're going to get super great positioning as opposed to anyone who buys trunk at 50 cents or 60 cents down the line. You have a huge advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. And just for the math, the 205% APR, if you compound it daily, it's actually 672% APY on Stampede. So that's massive. Now, can you compound in the farm? Do you know, or is it just straight rewards that you have to?
Just straight rewards. That's all it is. I mean, you could technically do a hyper compound of sorts. You can take your divs, you can sell half, and then you can pair it with what you want to do, and then re-strengthen your position. You could do that. I think a good actor would try not to sell or put any sell pressure on trunk best they can, and just add new funds to your rewards. Or like, I'm likely just going to throw it into Stampede, to be honest with you, and do that.
Brilliant.
So yeah,
and like you said, the APR is in between staking and Stampede, right? Roughly.
It depends on which farm pool you get into. So I imagine if your trunk cake farm is only at a 1x multiplier, that means you're only going to earn 10% APR on that.
Sure.
So just like any farm, it exists just to exist, to be like, oh yeah, I got some cake lying around, let me just pair it with some trunk, and then boom, you're earning something. Yep.
Oh, this is good. This is great. Yeah, this is really good.
I think what really blew my mind is just the aspect of how it's all based on trunk. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, if I pair Bitcoin with Trunk and Bitcoin price goes up, I don't think that matters that much in this. It's all based on Trunk price, if I'm not mistaken. Your Bitcoin is just your ticket, your entry in. Like, oh, I got some extra Bitcoin. Let me just pair it up, buy some Trunk, and then pair it in, and then I'm earning some Trunk divs, and then I can throw that into Stampede and lock up more.
If your Bitcoin appreciates after you've entered the farm, then it would qualify as impermanent loss, right? Because you're not able to participate in the gains of Bitcoin as it goes up.
No. You are. So if you put in 1 Bitcoin today and Bitcoin appreciates whatever, you wait 8 months and you pull out from the farm, you're truly pulling out 1 Bitcoin. There is 0 impermanent loss here.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. There is no LP token that's being created. You're literally just dual staking the acceptable token in that farm. So yeah, there is 0 impermanent loss, and it's also 100%. What is it? The audit, he said, is going to show that there's no backdoors. It's literally a completely independent system that runs on its own. Only you can move the funds out with your private key. He has no access to any of that, which is always an incentive for farms.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He's also giving 4x a run for his money because that farm is going to open, and it's good in a way, right? They're both competing. It's good. Yeah, it's good for us. It's good for DeFi.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be an interesting model just because I've never seen it done before. But the few that I've talked to, like actually Darrow, you know Airfire participated in those bankroll farms on Tron. He loved that shit. Like he still talks about it. So he's gonna eat this up, But like the fact that it's a impermanent loss-free farm is just something you don't really see. And it's an invention of BT back in the Tron days, but when Tron died, he just let it die with it and created Elephant, blah, blah, blah. But then he saw, he kind of had the mindset of, okay, Elephant's already got everything it needs. Buy with Bertha exists, blah, blah, blah. All right, now let's focus on Trunk. What can I do to make Trunk a little more attractive? And he's like, well, we're kind of aiming to be a bank. And if people have assets lying around, like their BSC versions of Ethereum and Bitcoin, why not give them a home as opposed to these other LP farms? So like every other LP farm acts the same way too. The more users that get into that farm, the less yield that farm pool is able to give out because it's distributed amongst so many different people. This is not that. Your APR is legitimately locked. It is personal to you, just like Stampede is. It doesn't matter how many users come in. It doesn't dwindle the rewards. And if anything, you want more users to come in because then you're locking up more TVL and then locking up more Trunk to boost that price as well. So there's a lot of upside to this.
And the APR is fixed because, as JC pointed out, it's going to be paid from the Elephant Treasury, it looks like.
Indirectly, it's paid out of the Elephant Treasury just because of how everything is connected. But I think that, so if you're in the farm for a week and you go claim your divs, you're like, oh shit, cool, I have 1,000 Trunk I'm about to claim out as divs. That 1,000 Trunk just comes to you as Trunk. And I think it's either freshly minted or it comes from the Trunk treasury. Like there's no value until you sell that Trunk. And your avenue of selling that Trunk is the same as how you got it, whether it be on PancakeSwap. PancakeSwap is how you would sell out. So yeah. I asked him about that Elephant Treasury thing because I saw that photo as well. And he was like, yeah, it's indirectly Elephant Treasury because that's like the backbone to everything. But there's checks and balance treasuries in between that and the Elephant Treasury. So yeah, I think it technically comes from the Trunk Treasury. That was a
got it.
Yeah, misleading statement. Yeah.
Hey SK, I have a question. Where does the yield come from to pay for all this? Because like I see that where it's coming from, like the Elephant Treasury ultimately is paying it out, but how does the system benefit from this to pay it?
from how I understand it, it works a lot like Stampede, where it's just like dashboard money. It just shows up and it only cashes out when you choose to sell it. It's not coming from any kind of taxes. It's a completely taxless system. The reason you can, I guess, invent like Stampede and like even Drip, your dashboard money, right? When you look at your 1% a day growing, that's not coming out of anywhere. It's just a dashboard figure until the moment you interact with it. So the same thing's happening here. It's just a dashboard. It's a number. And once you claim it and it's in your wallet, that trunk, that's when you then interact with the pancake swap pair to sell, or you throw it in the redemption queue, and that's congested, so it'd take forever. But it for lack of a better term, it just comes out of thin air.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But the benefit is that you're buying up all of the cheap pancake swap trunk, and when you do that and you pull it out of circulation, that's what drives the price of trunk upward, and that's what makes the platform more inviting to whoever wants to come in. It's the same thing that happened when Elephant token earlier this year went on the parabolic run up. It went from 6,000 users up to 18,000 users in a month. Like, that isn't from anyone in Telegram. That's not from anyone on YouTube. That is just chart watchers and people that are paying attention. You start hitting different algorithms when your price goes up. So you're going to start attracting new eyeballs, and all that money coming in is what's going to fuel the system and drive the price up.
Got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So all the money that comes in for the farms, people are going to see this appealing yield. They're going to come in. They know they're going to get paid in trunk, but just remember, as trunk price appreciates, that's where like the raffle sizes start to get larger. Incentivization goes into that. People will start buying with peanuts. People will start minting. All of that will feed the elephant treasury, which then in turn fuels the other back end that you've heard me say over and over, which is the supply shock. That's going to come too. All of that, comes through the front doors of this farm, and they're going to see the farm. They're going to lock up their dibs in Stampede or staking. Price goes up. Everyone's happy that trunk's back to nearly $1, if not $1 itself, really soon. And then the money starts pouring in, locking up more into the elephant treasury. Then it supply shocks elephant token, and then elephant token, when it inevitably 10, 20, 30 X's, has so much value that it starts to pay off the debt that trunk is putting onto the system, when all that money's ultimately coming out of the elephant treasury after it's supply shocked its face off.
And the other benefit of the farm is that your money isn't locked. I mean, if you put it in today and there's an emergency and you need the money tomorrow, you can pull it out, as opposed to Stampede, you're stuck. Yeah,
that's a huge benefit. And also with that, I mean, if you pay attention to trunk price, it's pretty damn stable in the 20-cent range. I don't know if you guys have really watched it, but if you buy it now, worst case scenario, whenever you do pull out your farm stakes, which are not locked, you'll just get the same amount of tokens you put back in, and you'll likely sell it back into a 20-cent trunk. And so the risk of loss here is very minimal, in my opinion.
And yeah, exactly. It looks like trunk is at a floor. Yeah, definitely 19, 20 cents. Yeah.
No, it definitely has. And I was trying to ask him if like the trunk that gets thrown into the farms are burned, and he said no, they're just there. They're in the farm, but just like having elephant in your wallet, it's just out of circulating supply, and that is hugely beneficial to the price.
Correct.
And
what does he do with the BUSD, SK? Say you pair it with BUSD, what does he do with that? In your example, the 10,000 BUSD, what does he do with that?
Honestly, I think it's frozen. So when he said the system's completely dependent on what trunk is doing, all he cares about is getting trunk out of circulating supply and having people buy cheap trunk. So when you pair a Bitcoin or your Ethereum or BUSD, I literally think it's just frozen there. It doesn't move. Yeah. It's not used for anything. It's just there for you to take back out. It's 100% in versus 100% out. You know what I mean?
Got it.
That's actually a really good question. I didn't ask him for that in detail, but just my just reading between the lines of how he focused on like trunk. I think that those assets are just frozen. They don't go anywhere. Yeah.
Right. He's not going to take the chance and use that BUSD to buy elephant and all that. And, if he does, he's going to have to convert the elephant back if I decide to pull out of the farm or something, for example. He might do a double barrel kind of thing where he boosts both trunk and elephant, in the same breath. But it's a bit of a risk if he does that. Because he'll have to pay the 10,000 BUSD back out of elephant and all that later.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why when he explained it, he just said it's literally as simple as it sounds. You park your token there, and it just sits there. There's no impermanent loss. It's there to pull out whenever you need. If you put in 100,000 BUSD, 5 years from now, you will pull out 100,000 BUSD. It's literally just frozen there. He does nothing with it. There's no rehypothecation. There's no liability to the elephant treasury. Your money just sits there as a place to park. Yeah. It's pretty crazy,
pretty
man.
Powerful, very powerful. Yeah, really.
It's very attractive, and I think that's what he's going for being the bank. He fundamentally believes that there will be other protocols that even use this as treasury, where to park some treasury funds. Like, hey, we got some extra BUSD. We'll just pair it with some trunk, which is at a super low price. So the appreciation prospect is super high. And yeah, they can just, park treasuries there. He's thinking that even if this thing gets $5-10 million TBL into it, it's going to start to dwarf the discrepancy that's on trunk PCS with the trunk BUSD. And that's all he needs. He just needs trunk to come out of PCS, and it fixes peg automatically. And then you have all the other gadgets and gizmos that keep trunk at peg once it's there with the elephant treasury and yada yada.
Yeah. No, the guy's really committed. I mean, he was focused on elephant for a long time. He told everybody just ignore trunk for now, but now he's put his focus and emphasis back on trunk now. So it's great.
Yeah, because elephant's already doing what it needs to do. I think people already know they can get it for a discount. If you look at the chart, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's really just been tracking along with BNB, but it's holding relatively steady. So elephant's doing what it needs to do. Now, he needs to address any and all of the fudders who ever have anything to say about the ecosystem, which is, oh, well, your stable coin's not $1. So all it did was light a fire under his ass to be like, okay, I got an easy fix for that. And boom, here we are with the farms.
And in a not so subtle jab at Forex, he basically said he's only been coding it for a week and he's almost ready.
Yeah, you saw that too, right? Like, why do you got to mention you've only been coding it for a week, bro? Why you got to throw that in there? Yeah. I mean, I even asked him to throw in a drip trunk pair, and he's like, man, Forex would just like blacklist that shit immediately. I'm not even gonna start. But but this opens up the possibilities too. He wants partnerships to land their treasuries over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see one day like a trunk EMP pair, a trunk Furio token pair, piston pair. I mean, there's opportunities here, to partner with people. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was around the corner too. I just love the fact that it's going to lock up so much trunk. Like this is going to catch a wildfire. It is going to rapidly appreciate trunk price. And we're all looking at the charts that trunk price is held stable at like 20 cents. And so you getting in now is probably the easiest 4x on your money that you could ask for. You put in you put in $5,000 worth of a trunk pair in this farm, and at 4x you're now earning 102% APY based on $20,000 value. So it's the upside is just huge for us early people right now.
Right. So at 20,000, 100% APR divided by 365 is roughly a third of a percent, right? So a third of a percent times the 20,000 is about 60 trunk a day or something like that. you'd be earning essentially.
Yep.
If my math is correct. Yeah.
Sounds about right. I haven't run the numbers. But yeah, all I know is that I'm excited for, because I've been buying cheap trunk too, and I've been trying to win some of these max depositor things. And my Stampede, I'm very proud and happy of how my Stampede looks. I never thought I'd have a chance for it to be as large as it is, and I'm excited for the prospect of it going back to even if it goes back above 150% APR, and I can compound that, on a 6-to-1 schedule. Like, dude, it's, I'm gonna just take my farm divs and likely just put them into Stampede, and then I'm gonna compound 6 days, and on the 7th day I claim out that trunk from Stampede, and I just throw it into staking. That's my goal.
Right. You've always been doing that, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I got away from it because I started going for max depositor and shit. So I started to not really put it into staking, and what I had in staking, I withdrew it all to try to win a max depositor, and and then I do the random giveaways and stuff. So I've completely fallen off my schedule in that regard. But my intention is to go back to steady state of a 6-to-1.
Yeah. So it's actually 55 trunk a day on the 20,000. If you, using your math, if you put in $5,000 worth into the LP, and you're getting 100% APR on $20,000 worth, you end up at about 55 trunk a day in rewards, daily rewards, which ain't shabby. If you multiply that by 7, that's like 375, 400 trunk a week. Yeah, that's good. I mean, and it's at peg now.
And it's at peg. Yeah. It's, hey, Crypto D, what's up? Yeah, anyone else have questions? I probably don't have too much longer here.
Well, I have 2 quick ones. One of them was this deposit fee on the farms. I know BT probably has 0, but doesn't it make sense to get some taxes and buy back Elephant to boost the treasury?
Yep, I'm glad you're here. I literally asked him that exact question, and he just was like, nah. He wants it to be as frictionless as possible. All the money that's going to feed the trunk treasury and the elephant treasury, that's all just going to happen with everything else that already exists in the ecosystem. This is just more about frictionless people that should have zero hesitation to get in and out of the farms. Like, your farm money isn't locked up. You can withdraw it at any time. And if you truly put in 10,000 BUSD, you will truly pull out 10,000 BUSD. There is no 1% in or out. He just shot that down with quickness. He wants frictionless, is what he said.
Okay, second question. I know you're talking about the peg and everybody's pumped up, but I think there will be volatility. That will be people dumping and dividends and all that stuff. We're going to go back and up and down, right? Even if it gets to 90, it's going to drop back to 60 and so on. Hopefully we can raise the floor. But I don't think we can hold $1 trunk for a long time unless Berta is healthy. That's what
1,000%.
Right?
Yeah, 1,000%.
We should not be assuming PEG will be there and staying for months and years, right? I think it will not.
Well, we'll have to see. So their volatility is anticipated, obviously, and as people sell, it creates buying opportunities for others. Now, remember too, the domino effect. As the trunk price goes up, even once it crosses 25 cents, and that's a new floor. Remember, peanuts becomes more attractive for max depositor because you get the 25% bonus. You're buying it for 25 cents anyway, and now you're feeding Bertha faster because the peanuts is back in action. Right now, no one uses peanuts. Why use peanuts when I can get trunk for 20 cents? Trunk gets up, maybe it holds a new floor the next time around 45 cents to 50 cents. Well, then now minting starts to become a thing. I think you're right. There's going to be volatility. It won't get to $1 and just hold there, but it makes everything else in the ecosystem more attractive, more incentivized, more money that comes in, and strengthens Bertha at the same time. And this is all just kind of a stopgap that exists before the inevitable elephant supply shock.
Yeah, we need trunk minting, right? Trunk minting will pump elephant like happened last time.
Exactly. And right now there's zero incentive to use peanuts and zero incentive to mint because trunk price is so low. So this farm is just a shot in the arm to boost, actually hyper boost the trunk price to make those other things more attractive.
Somebody said if it's above 62.5, it makes sense to mint then. So
yes.
let's hope we'll get there. Okay, that's all for me. Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you, Crypto D. Anybody else before I go?
Hey, SK, sorry, I maybe missed this one because I just came back home, lose my connection of internet. But when is these farms starting and where it's going to be located? Sorry, I missed that part.
Oh, actually, I never said that part. I think it's going to be somewhere on the main page. I don't know which one. It might be a standalone farm page. Launch window is within 7 days from now. It could be this weekend. It could be next Wednesday. I honestly don't know, but it's within a week, guaranteed.
Okay, cool, brother. I'll pay attention to that one. I'm just about to buy 1K of elephant because I saw it went down and I was like, oh, I gotta go and buy some. But I think I missed the boat and it wouldn't go back up. Not much, but it's still up.
Yeah,
So I better hurry up.
It's kind of following along BNB right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm actually torn. I've been trying to put as much fresh capital as I can in, but I'm honestly torn between buying elephant and buying trunk. I think I'm leaning right now for trunk for the farms.
Right. Well, I got a good position in trunk, but the one that I'm lacking is elephant. So that's why I want to pair it up a little bit more. But I don't know. What do you think about it? Got like 6K in trunk. I only have 1K in elephant, so I wanna.
You only have $1,000 worth of elephant total.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Buy elephant.
Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. You people want to focus on trunk once they're satisfied or content with their elephant holdings. So, there's never enough elephant to hold. That's why it's hard to say that. But yeah, I'd get as much as you can so you can capitalize on the easy 100x that's going to happen within the next year to a year and a half. You hold it longer term than that, it's going to be 3, 4, 500x. You know?
Sure, I'll put it on gas on it. Thanks, man. Thank you very much.
Sir. Okay. Well, all right, folks. Unless anyone interrupts me, I think I'm done. This is recorded, so if you missed any part of it, feel free to go back and listen. Anyone else who's new, share this with your friends. This is some of the earliest alpha that I can share that I just heard from BT himself. And you're hearing this now, probably 2 days before I get a, summarizing everything. So yeah, Medium YouTube videos are coming. And yeah, other than that, I hope everyone has a good rest of your night. Appreciate all of your time. Stay blessed, stay safe, and make good choices with your crypto. Bye.
Hey, brilliant. Thanks a lot, SK. Appreciate it, brother.
Take care.
Yeah, brother, appreciate that. Good night.
Good night.
Yes. Good night, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you.